And let's go into a day in the life. And this is a bit light fare here, so not heavy duty stuff. But our homeschool, our day in the home is not just academics. Okay, it is that comprehensive education that we've been talking about. And I think I counted the list, about 18 families here today. So just as there are 18 different families, there could be 18 different ways of doing this. And as Patrick and Kristen said, that was their way. And I'm going to tell you some of our way about the organization that we use. And then use it as best you can, or if you can, or if you can't, chuck it, But part of this is going to be to till up some things in your mind toward the breakout session. Because all the little issues, because we all got issues. We might, some might look like they got it all together, but we have some stuff that we all got to deal with. And like you were saying, there's going to be problems, and we just got to learn how to address them. But it's all unique. Each family is unique, and that's what makes homeschooling what it is. And the reason why we can't necessarily use the professional educator techniques that they use in the classroom. We could use some of them, but all of them are not necessarily going to work, or probably not going to work. Why? Okay. This is about a 200-year experiment as opposed to the history of humanity. The classroom is an extremely artificial environment. If you ever had to be in one, then you know that you'll never be in it again. I've never worked in an organization with 30 people the exact same age as me. Never. With one boss who's old enough to be my parent. Never. Most of the time, almost every job I had, I'm supervising people older than me. Every time. So the classroom is not real life. So your home is much more like a real life situation. Because you have different people of different ages, of different temperaments, of different personalities, of different strengths and weaknesses. Welcome to the real world. That's the way it is. A great situation to educate children. I think that's why God set it up that way. So it'll vary. Your makeup of kids is going to be different from my makeup of kids and all that. Now, whenever 10 years ago when I was serving as head of the school, I asked, and that's the direction, and I think we're going now and where I thought we should go. Y'all remember I put out a questionnaire. What do y'all want? What do you need? What do you need from this school? This school is brought to you, by you, for you. Okay. What is it that we need? What are we expecting from this organization? Incidentally, on the legal side, Corpus Christi Homeschool is just an association of schools. Okay, so it's not a school in and of itself. So everybody has their own individual school. But what do you need from Corpus Christi Homeschool Association? A lot of times, the answer came back, I'm sure this was from a lot of the moms, what's the dad's role in homeschooling? Okay, and obviously that is leadership. And that's not to say that, we can't teach some of the classes, some of the coursework. If that works for a family, go for it, that's great. I knew a homeschooling family where the dad was actually a certified teacher, so he was more lent to, doing that teaching. It just, again, depends on the situation. If you have something you like that you want to teach, go for it, and, save it for the evening maybe whenever you're home, or it can work all kind of ways. Let's see here. I don't want to jump around too bad. Yeah, let me mention this first. I said a little while back that I'm big on environment. I think that's really what makes it all work, is to eliminate distractions in the home and to make sure, that we are organized, neat, decluttered. Even to the, it's not to say, well, some people, I've heard this before, it's like, well, maybe whenever we have the certain home that we want, then we'll be able to homeschool. I'm not saying that to that extent. I mean, like I said, it's incumbent upon us to homeschool. Make it work in your situation. We've moved, and I think a lot of people in here do that. You might flip houses to be able to build equity and all, and that's a good system that works. But just making sure that that's a priority wherever you do get to, wherever you do move to, that, we're going to be in a situation where we can homeschool. Sometimes even different neighborhoods can affect or impact that. That's been our experience. So just be aware that, that you have that in the back of your mind as you're moving around in places that you're going to. But on this sheet here in your packet, this is what a solution I came up to on a problem. Because, ladies, just understand, especially y'all with babies, that my wife would come to me sometimes at her wit's end saying, this ain't working. This is chaos. This is not happening. And I said, well, baby, tell you what, we're going to fix it. We're going to find a solution, because in that group, there's people with more kids than us that are making it work. So I'm going to find an answer. And that's what we have to be humble enough to go whenever we don't have the answer ourselves, to go seek out people. And like Patrick said, ask several people and then come to your own conclusion. So this was my solution at the time. And you can see on here, we had, y'all might want to write this in on here because it's not on here. 3 kids that were in school, and that was the oldest one. So what did that mean? That means there was babies involved. And that throws in a whole new dimension on homeschooling, right? When you got babies. Makes things interesting. Matt was in 5th grade. Sarah was in 3rd grade. Peter was in 1st grade. Woohoo! And there was probably another baby and another baby on the way, or another baby and an infant, a toddler and an infant. Okay, so you got 3 kids you're trying to school on 3 different levels. Now understand, a school teacher is teaching 1 grade level at a time. So what? We can't use the same techniques, right? We got to do something different. Okay, so this little tool here I designed just to be, and if anybody wants this template, just let me know. It's in Excel. You can tweak it like you like. So that she could see every kid, every student at every time what they were supposed to be doing and when she had to shift gears. So when the babies were involved, she was like, well, I'm having difficulty because they always need my attention. So then you're going to see on here that a subject for each one of the kids throughout the day is kids. So I said we can have kid time, where at intervals, one of their classes is going to be to go off and take the toddler or whatever in the playroom where they can't see mama, so that they won't bother her, so that she can tend to the other kids, to the students. And because all they want to do is play, so just make sure they occupied, and they get busy doing something and they occupied, and then that kid is responsible to make sure that he don't escape. So as soon as he loses interest in what he's doing there, give him something else to do. And just have a bunch of stuff to keep him occupied during that, whatever, half an hour, whatever it might be. Okay, so kid time, that was a big part of life that we came up with as a solution to an issue. Fast forward a little bit, and this is what our chart looks like now. You got this in your packet. And it might look better than that. Let me see what you got. Oh, man, I had the wrong picture. Anyway, it's a clock up here, so that's important. I'd reprinted the picture, and I guess I gave it a wrong one to put in the packet. But anyway, the clock is important. That way we know when she got a clock on hers. Okay, so some people got a clock. Anyway, if you don't have a clock, draw it in.
Only the special people got
Special people got the clock.
Still don't like that.
But then Mama can look there and see what time it is and see what every kid is supposed to be doing at any given time. And it's all in one place. Because after a while, we had too many students for this action here. And then we got all the subjects there. This is the infamous dry erase board. And she went ahead and wrote in some chores there on the bottom. So that stuff there can change. And then there's room to put little quotes and maybe things for the church season and all. So that's just part of organization, which we as dads ought to make sure is happening. Stay at 10,000 feet and just make sure you're watching and see what's going on and listen. Let a radio in and tell you what the issues are. Air flight control, that way we know what's going on. I was asking Kristen a little bit about their talking things, but one thing that came up, she said she wanted to have mentioned was meals. And so I've always, and I advise this, especially on the younger couples I talk to, I always set up my situation so I could come home for lunch during the day. I just think that's real important. That the family have that expectation. And that the kids know that it's a relief on mom. It'll kind of break that stress in the day. So if we don't have that situation, make it a goal, to get there, because it's just because there's some days when I am away, I might have to be away for a full day. It's not often, and I can tell the difference. I mean, I can't imagine, people that have to travel, traveling jobs overnight, how much that must impact them. I mean, just being away all day long, the difference to me is tremendous. So, and just how in tune I can be with my family, with my kids. So, it doesn't seem like much until you don't have it. Let's put it to you that way, till you don't have it. But most of the time now, because I have made my situation the way it is, we have all 3 meals together every day, and it just works, So, but anyway, if at least one a day, the dinner, that's a big deal, because a lot of families today, a lot in society now don't even have that. It's like the dad comes home and he's off to something else, and the kids don't even see him. So the attempt should be, or should be any reason not to at least have dinner together every night. And then finally, I guess the last main topic I want to hit. And again, be thinking and writing stuff down that you might want to bring out in a breakout session. Is discipline. And Patrick brought up train up a child, and he gave a talk on it a little while back. And gee whiz, just get it done early, while they're young, and solve yourself a lot of problems. Because you can imagine families trying to have a bunch of kids trying to homeschool without any discipline. I mean, it's just not going to be possible. And all you got to do is, I know my mother was a school teacher for over 30 years. You can walk into a classroom now and try to see a situation with lack of discipline and kids trying to learn. Same thing at home. So that's a basic, fundamental thing. Something more specific, though, is just getting the household chores done. And I don't know about y'all, but with us, laundry is an issue. Does anybody have an issue with laundry? I mean, laundry is an issue, okay? This is how we handle laundry, and that's just an example. This is just one of the many, okay? So, and 25 plus years of marriage, it's just always, been one of them things you try to lasso. So, we were in this, and we have the hamper system, right? So it's like the 3 different classifications in a different hamper, and they might be, was this hints from Heloise or something? Or anyway, and those 3 sets, we got 3 full bathrooms. I mean, that might be, this is a pretty complex operation here. So, a while back, the deal was, okay, when they full, then run the load. So, you have this really intangible term of full.
Communication.
And you'd walk in, and you could pry the door open, and get into the bathroom, and it's like, well, it's not full yet, you see? Because I could get, it wasn't that bad, I'm exaggerating. But it's like, and look, this is the kid's job. This is not her job. This is, there's an assignment for this, and that's why it's important for the kids to learn responsibility and to have, something to answer for and that they have to do and that they're contributing. And that, look, it's important because when Dad don't have his stuff, it gets bad. When I got to get up and go and make it happen and I don't have my stuff in the morning, it gets really bad. So, they feel the weight of it. They know that it is important, and it makes them feel a part, right? So, the solution there was, okay, not when it's full every day. Every day at this time, the hampers roll down the hall to the laundry room. I don't care how much is in them, because there's going to be something in them. Collect them all up and they go. Without fail, it's got to be done every day. First, okay, so organization of the day, and I'm kind of getting away, but anyway, first thing that happens, morning prayers at breakfast table, breakfast together. If Dad's not there, at least Mom leading morning prayers, saint of the day. Morning offering, the whole bit, okay? And then clean up breakfast, and be at school table, whatever location it might be, by 8:30. If we have, do we do Pledge of Allegiance still? Sometimes we do Pledge of Allegiance. You can do Pledge of Allegiance. That's good. And go, by 8:30. So that we just stay on schedule. Do school first, because if you don't, it ain't going to get done. There's been all kind of ways of trying to massage that, but do that first, okay? And even with 3 students here in 7 different class sessions, with kids, we were still able to get that done by noon. Wow, how does that happen? Pretty cool. If we stay on schedule. You can see the various subjects there, and that there's a catch-all time. It's good to have a catch-all time at one day of the week in case, because not all subjects are going to flow as easily all year long. Okay, so there's going to be some ups and downs in various subjects where they'll need more time. All right, then lunch, clean up lunch, then let's see. This is a little different from how we do it now. But that laundry, what's supposed to be happening is see, we don't have a washboard. We don't even hang. It's all automatic machine. We space age, right? So my point is, how can this possibly not get done if all you got to do is put it in one machine, press a button, and move it from one to the other, and press another button and take it out? How can that possibly not get done? I mean, I'm listening. Just explain it. Okay? I don't mean to oversimplify things, but to me, that's the assessment of it. Okay? So, that actually could happen in these break times, right? They could, after they finish that class, go move a load and put the next one on. And then by noon, it's all done. After the kitchen's cleaned up, fold the laundry, put it up, and they're going to do that real fast if they got to do that before they get to go play. See how that works? Order? Because if you let them go and then you try to pull them back in to do a job, that's much harder. So if we have a progression of an order in which we do things, it makes things a whole lot easier, and it works with their human nature. And then they learn, just like the church teaches us. What? We have Advent, then Christmas, Lent, then Easter, work, then play. It just works with human nature the way God made us. So we pay first, then we receive. That's how it works. We have pretty much adopted across the board all year long, with rare exception, no TV or computer during the week. With the exception of whatever classes they may have on computer. There's the DVD-ROM for the math that we use, so that has to be done on computer. But as far as their little games or whatever, they don't do any of the internet stuff pretty much until they're an adult. So that's thrown into the mix now in our home. We have adult kids, so that makes things a little interesting. But so there's no social media, no cell phones, no tablets, none of that. And then, the TV is just, and it's not just to have the TV on, it's if it's something we're really interested in. And, and if, Missy and I will go out one night a week, so that'll be their TV time. So they can pick a movie or whatever. It's not going to be something on a cable or anything like that. Makes things really easy, to just leave all that off. And I grew up in a home where the TV never got turned off. So the difference I can tell, and it does make a big difference. And limited the time on computer whenever they do have the time to play their games. It's just games. We found the magic amount of time. We tweaked it over the years, tried it out over the years, and a 20-minute interval is a good amount of time. And so they do that on Saturday and Sunday. Then something I came up with from listening to Michael Pearl. I remember him walking through and talking through a discipline. Wasn't so much a discipline. It was just actually getting a kid to do a chore, empty the trash, and it was comical the way he did it, but he talked through it. And this was a 10-year-old kid, and so it was to get him to do it, and then not only get him to do it, but to get him to do it with the right attitude. Because for once you had to tell him more than once in the example that he gave. And then when he went to do it, he was aggravated about it. So she made him put the trash back in the can and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. Until he did it with a good attitude and followed through the process. So often when we go, all the time, when we go through our examination of conscience, at the end of the day, once a week I'll explain what each one of these sins we're examining for means. Of having, being respectful and having the right attitude, because it's not just being obedient is one thing, but it's the right kind of obedience with the right attitude. Surprisingly, knowing we have little saintly kids, that that hasn't always, that's been an issue for us over the years. So what we've had to do, one thing I came up with in listening to him go through that story, I came up with what's called ART, and it's not ART, it's ORT, obedience and respect training, because he emphasizes training, right? So I want to develop in them a habit of doing things that they are required to do or told to do in the right way. So here's the drill. Okay, mom says do such. Okay, then you say yes ma'am. You go do it. And then let's say it'll be sweep the floor. And then you step back after you think you finished it and you look at it and you see, is it done? First, check it yourself. Then, if not, then finish it. Then you go to mom and ask, okay, do you want to check it? Because I think I'm finished this. Okay, yes or no? Okay, is there anything else you need me to do? What should I do next? And continue and repeat that until she says, no, that's all I got for you. You can go play or you can go do whatever, you're free to go. Because what tends to happen in my house, and it compounds the matter the bigger house you have, is that they escape. Just like I was talking about the little toddler. I mean, even at teenagers, they escape. And like, well, where did such and such go? And it gets to be an issue whenever again, we're trying to corral them to get things done or to start the next part of school or just for her to get them to do something. You can't find them. So whenever that has kind of erupted to becoming some bad habits develop, we would have, art hours or art weeks or art days or art weeks. Y'all on art all week, so don't expect to do anything else after school, and go through the drill. And so obviously that's a lot of time to work. So we have to have a list of jobs that they could be able to do. So, have a list ready. I tell them, at Wendy's they clean bathrooms, 5 or 6 times a day, are they supposed to? They got the little chart on the wall of how many times that, somebody's, so those bathrooms can be cleaned several times a day, When's the last time you had your windows washed? It could be raking leaves, whatever, But just the drill of, doing little chores, little jobs. And again, it's not so much, it is to get the job done, but to develop the right attitude. For one, responsibility, and then developing the good attitude, because you want to see, like she was saying, like Kristen was saying, the look in their eyes of that the heart is right. The heart is right when mama says to do something. Okay, that their heart's in the right place, because that's magic. That's the outcome that we want. Okay, that's all I have. Hopefully that stirred up some things that we can go into the breakout session with. So, back in your court.